Welcome back to another session on logic development. We are discussing concept of decision making. Selection constructs is what we are discussing. In the last session, we had a look at single alternative if. Some set of instructions whose execution depends upon the condition. If the condition is satisfied, then those instructions are executed, and if the condition is not satisfied, the instructions are skipped. That was single alternative if. The way we got ending with that was something like this. So we are checking for a condition. If this condition is satisfied, we'll follow this course of action, execute these statements, and then proceed further. But if the condition is not satisfied, we'll directly proceed further. That means execution of these statements depends upon this condition. So that was single alternative if. Now that we have seen single alternative if, many a times we have either of the actions to be performed depending on the condition. Now here, there is only one alternative. That means if the condition is true, then there is something to be done. If the condition is false, we just proceed further. So execution of this statement was depending upon this particular condition. But then we also have dual alternative. Now, when I use the word dual alternative, that means we check for some condition. If the condition is true, then we do something. And if the condition is false, then we do something else. So in that case, we have if, else, and if construct. Look at the chart that we have over here. Now, if you look at the chart, we check for a condition over here. If the condition is true, we follow this course of action and then we proceed further. But it could also happen this condition turns out to be false. So if this condition turns out to be false, we follow this course of action and we proceed further. So either this statement or this statement will get executed depending on the result of this particular condition. If the condition is true, this will get executed. If the condition is false, this will get executed. So these are two mutually exclusive statements. That means either of these two will get executed depending on this particular condition. Here we call this scenario as dual alternative. That means for this condition, there are two alternatives. Either follow this course of action or follow this course of action. And that's precisely what we're going to look up today. Examples where we have dual alternative if. Let's take an example which is based on this particular problem. But while you are writing such conditions, we have to use various operators. Like if I want to check comparative values. So in that case, we use Boolean expressions. So these Boolean expressions actually evaluate only two results, either true or false. There is no third value that we get when we have a Boolean expression. So always keep in mind. The Boolean expression evaluates only two types of values, either true or false. There is no third value that you'll ever get. So what exactly these Boolean expressions are and how can we make use of them? Let's have a look at it. Okay. Let's begin with a discussion on Boolean expression, which are a very common aspects when we talk about any programming language. So we are now looking at Boolean expression. So it represents only one of the two states, either true or false. There is nothing like, I don't know. The result of this expression can only be two, either true or false. There is no third answer that you get. It's not like arithmetic expression where you solve and you may get any answer. Here only two answers you get, either true or false. So it evaluates to either true or false. Every decision computer program involves evaluating a Boolean expression. So we'll see how to construct a Boolean expression. Every computer decision is either true or false result. So whenever you talk about decision making, wherever you check for a condition, you only have two results, either true or false. There is no third result that will ever have. Is my audio clear?
Yes, sir.
When you talk about these Boolean expressions, for that we'll have to use some operators. Like arithmetic expressions will have arithmetic operators like plus, minus, into, divide. So Boolean expressions will have some kind of operators. So what are those relational operators? As the name says relational, they're used to test the relationship between two operands. So in different languages, we'll have different symbols, but the most common will be greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, not equal to. Some languages use double equal to. Some language for not equal to have a slightly different notation. So from language to language, the notation can change. Some language represents not equal to in this fashion. That's okay. Okay. But it all depends upon which language you are working on, and accordingly we'll have different notations that you can have. Here we have said equal to, correct? Many languages use double equal to say it is equal. This is 1 equal to, and this will be second equal to, double equal to. So there will be these changes that can happen from one language to another. This not equal to is the one which is most troublesome, because there are very different operators that I use. Some language use this, some language will ask you to use this, and then we are said over here not equal to. So it can vary from one to another. You are free to use any of those, but throughout this logic, use only one symbol. That means if I start using this not equal to this symbol, then use the same symbol throughout the program. It's not, should not happen. First time you use one symbol, next time you use another symbol. You should be consistent with the choice of your symbols. Any logical situation can be expressed with only three types of comparison: equal to, greater than, and less than. Any kind of complex conditions that you have. Operators greater than equal to and less than equal to are not necessary, but make the code more readable. If I wanted to check greater than or equal to, okay, in that case, I could have used the combination of these two conditions and I could have achieved that. But then this makes it more easy to understand. Not equal operator, most confusing for comparisons, most likely different languages. I told you, one was that angular brackets, other was that not equal to. So that's actually very complex when we talk about different languages. Have a look at this example. Here we are checking for the customer score. If the customer score is not equal to 1, if this condition is true, we go here and we give discount of 25%, and then we proceed further. If the customer score is equal to 1, okay, customer code not equal to 1, okay, and that condition is false. If it is equal to 1, we'll go here and we'll give this particular condition. So we'll either follow this course or we'll follow this course of action. So that was how you write it. And in if else, you could have said, if the customer code not equal to 1, then give this discount, else give this discount. So we have if and else. So either execute these statements or execute these statements, and if is a must. Now that we have seen this construct, it's time for us to look into an example that will be based on the same thing. And then we'll also solve some kind of assignments. Now, last time we had solved some question that was for the gross bill amount. Then we talked about a basic salary. Today we'll take another example. Have a look at this particular example. Okay. And we will go ahead drawing a flowchart for the same. I'll draw one flowchart and the next problem statement will be for you to look into. So have a look at this problem statement. It says, draw a flowchart to calculate income tax waiver. Now, what is the basis to calculate the income tax waiver? We say income tax is 30% of the annual income. So whatever the fellow's annual income is, uska 30% dena hai. But senior citizens are eligible for concession of 50% in the total income tax that they are payable. So you need to understand the question very carefully. It's about income tax calculation. That's the problem actually. Now, although the problem is about income tax calculation, we have now given the basis. The tax is calculated at the rate of 30%. So 30% is the tax. That means if you earn 100 rupees, you have to pay to the government 30 rupees. But if you are senior citizen, then you only have to pay 15 rupees because you get 50% in the income tax. And but who is senior citizen? Whose age is greater than or equal to 60 years is categorized as senior citizen. So take a snapshot of this particular problem. We'll go ahead solving this particular problem, drawing a flowchart for the same. I'll draw one flowchart and the next one you will be solving. So I'll start with, I'll take this particular problem statement in Flogorithm. Meanwhile, I'm sharing this particular problem statement with all of you in the chat window. I hope you have received it in the chat window as well. See it? I'll share it as maybe a PDF file or an image file so that you can also download and have that particular problem statement right with you. So let me just share this particular thing as an image so that you can or not. Check it out, everybody. Have you got it as image? Would you download it?
Yes, sir.
Ishri, Piyush, Ita,
Yes, sir.
turn on your videos.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Download the problem statement I shared with you all. Have you all downloaded the statement? Aditya and Kostu has downloaded the statement. Everybody should have that statement with yourself. Raj, Piyusha, could you download the statement? Ankita, Piyusha and Ankita, could you download the statement? Monica, are you there, Ankita, in the session? Piyusha, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you downloaded then? If you have downloaded, give a tick mark.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Reaction. Piyusha, Ankita, and Bhagishi, turn on your video also. I need to see whether you are there in the session. Have you slept? Are you in the right kind of scenario? Means you need to have a dedicated place while you learn. It cannot be like you are walking on the ground, you are along with your friends, and you are attending the session. That shouldn't happen. Attention is must. So let's go ahead and solving this particular problem statement. Solve this particular problem statement. Problem is already there. आपके लिए problem जल्दी से देख लो. I am sharing the problem once again for you, Rohit. And then start. So you already have you have read the problem. Now that you have read the problem, we'll need to define some variables. Now tell me what all inputs are coming into the system. And read the problem again and identify what inputs.
Age.
Tell me what are the inputs.
Age.
Annual
income.
Age.
One at a time. One is age of the citizen, correct?
Annual
Okay.
income.
Yeah, what type of variable is it? So if I declare a variable age, what type of variable is it?
Integer.
Integer, real number,
String.
Boolean value. What kind of variable is it?
Integer. Integer.
Integer. So I define a variable called as age, which is of type integer. So first variable has now been declared. We need one more variable. What is another variable that we need for?
Annual income. Annual income.
Annual income.
Income. And what will be the type? String or integer?
Integer.
It will be real. Okay.
Okay.
So income can be 10 lakh rupees and 1 paisa also, 10 paisa also. So it will not be integer, it will be a real number. So I say real annual income. So we have integer, age, a real, that's a number with a precision. We may have 0.50 paise, 0.70 paise, and so on. What else do we need?
Income tax.
Income tax. We have to calculate income tax. So we are going to declare one more variable, that is income tax. And that will be integer or real?
Again, real.
In real. And that's income tax. So we have defined one more variable, the one that we'd like to calculate, income tax. What else do we need? Any other variable that we need? Any other variable do we need?
Senior citizen's age.
Louder, louder.
Age of the senior citizen.
Yeah, integer age.
So we can just compare it greater than 60 in the if condition.
So what is that?
Senior citizen, like eligibility.
Constant that we like to define. Correct? Although
Yes.
here we don't have special provision for constant, we'll have to have a name constant called as minimum. We said who is a senior citizen? The question says a citizen whose age is greater than or equal to 60 years. A citizen with age greater than or equal to 60 years is a senior citizen. And tomorrow this limit can change to 58 also. Who knows? Or 65 also. So we need to have a constant defined over here saying so minimum age for senior citizen, and I'll take it as an integer. Okay. You are trying to define variables with underscore. It is not allowing underscore. So in that case, I'll just say minimum age for senior citizen. minimum age senior citizen. Okay, so we had to have senior citizen. So I said minimum age senior citizen, a variable I have defined. But this variable will also have to initialize to 60. So the variable that we have was minimum age senior, all in uppercase. Unless there is underscore, it is very difficult to read. But since this logarithm is not allowing underscore, I'm writing it in one word. Don't write such names. Look, it's so very difficult to read. Put an underscore, min underscore age underscore senior underscore citizen. That would have been easier to read. But since there are restrictions in some tools, so I'm just letting it be so. So we have defined this variable whose value is 60. Now tell me what will the next step be? What will I have to accept from the user?
Annual income.
Annual income. So let's go ahead accepting annual income. So we'll have to give a message to the user. And the message has to be very clear. So we say, please enter your citizens income, and that too there has to be some unit of measurement. So I said in rupees. So I said please enter citizens annual income in rupees, and I don't click on this new line because I want the input to be taken on the same line. Here we go. Enter the please enter citizens annual income in rupees. So that's what we have done. So we'll have to also accept it. Now that we have displayed a message, we'll have to accept it. So I say input, and what is the input that will have the I take a variable called as annual income. So we had input. So we give a message to the user. We are given the message to the user. User enters the input, and that is stored in this variable called as annual income. Annual income is what we have. Okay. We had defined a variable saying ANNUAL. I will have to actually have variable name which is consistent. It will not happen that somewhere the variable name is something and sometimes later the variable name changes. So here I have ANNUAL income. Here also I'll say ANNUAL income. So we have this variable that has been defined. Now we prompted the user to enter the annual income. We accepted the annual income. Next, what is that we'll have to do?
Age.
Age is what we'll have to accept. So we'll again have to give a message to user. Is this message correct? Please enter the age of the citizen.
In years.
In years, that's very important. Somebody may say my age is 5,000. But that could be 5,000 days also. Okay. So citizen in years. So messages you have to draft very carefully. Don't expect that what you have in your mind, customer will also expect the understand the same thing. That will never happen. So we'll accept the age. So we display a message saying please enter the age of the citizen in years, and we have accepted the age. Now that we have accepted the age, what is the next thing that we should do?
Decision.
Are you sure? Sure. So, since you are saying decision, let me use decision. What is the condition that you write?
Age of the person greater than
Is age greater than
minimum age for
Minimum
seniors.
age?
Senior.
What's the name of the variable? Senior citizen? Name as minimum age of senior citizen. Minimum age senior citizen. I say if age greater than minimum age for senior citizen. If it is true, if the age is greater than equal to minimum age for senior citizen, then what will you do?
So is
There are two options, na? Either the condition will be true or the condition may not be true. Yes,
Sir, am I audible? Am I audible, sir?
yes, yes.
इससे पहले हमें इनकम टैक्स कैलकुलेट करना होगा.
Yeah, that's better way to go about it. We will have to first calculate the income tax. So I'll first calculate the income tax saying income tax is equal to, what is the income tax?
Annual income into 30%, वो भी हमें डिक्लेयर करना होगा.
Very correct. So if you're saying annual income, okay, into something, so we'll have to calculate, we'll have to define that variable as well. Like we had defined senior citizen age. So we'll also have to define a variable, which is income tax rate. And that's a variable of type real. Income tax rate. So that's a rate. And how much is the rate? Income tax rate currently is 30%. 30% is 30 divided by 100. So that's 0.30. So income tax rate is 0.30, or let us say 0.30. That will be more readable. So income tax rate is 0.30. Now that we know what's the income tax rate, here, let's say annual income into income tax rate. So we have annual income into income tax rate. So we have calculated it. So if you are senior citizen, then what will you do?
50% concession.
अरे फिर डुअल एलिजिबिलिटी की जरूरत है क्या? अगर नहीं करोगे, if he is not a senior citizen, then what will you do? Yes,
30%.
30%. Okay, but with 30%, we have already calculated.
Yes, sir.
So there was no need for us to go ahead with this. It can be an example of single alternative. That means here again, here this was income tax rate. That's an income tax rate. But then we are supposed to give them 50% discount in the total income payable. So this concession that we are supposed to give is also a variable that we'll have to define. That's a concession.
Yes.
So here we say senior citizens are eligible for concession of 50% in the income tax that they are payable. So we require one more variable over here. We require one more variable, and that's senior citizen concession. Senior concession, I'd say. Senior concession rate, and that's a real value. Senior concession rate is 50%. That's a 0.50. 50 divided by 100. So senior concession का rate है. Already calculated income tax. Now, if he's senior, that means his age is greater than minimum age for senior citizen, then we only calculate the discount that is payable. So we have to give him income tax value 50% of the income tax. So in that case, your income tax is senior concession rate. Is that correct? So income tax is what is the discount that we have to give, and then we go ahead displaying it. Displaying it. we say the income tax payable is rupees, and we display the income tax. Income tax. Is this right or no? We have defined all the variables. After defining the variables, we ask is to enter income tax. We accept the annual income, we accept the annual income, we accept. Then we ask is to enter the age in years, we accept the age. Then we calculate the income tax that is payable. After calculating the income tax payable, we check if he is senior citizen. If age is greater than 60 years, agar true hai to income tax will give 50% discount and we display the income tax. Is this correct or not?
सर greater than or equal to 60 है ना?
Very correct. Somebody अगर वो 60 years का है तो क्या उसको नहीं देगा क्या? वो senior citizen तब भी है if his age is greater than equal to 60 years. So that was the right thing that he has identified. So good work, Rahul. He has identified a logical mistake. Who is a senior citizen? Senior citizen is a citizen with age greater than or equal to 60 years. So that was something which was missing. Very good. So अगर senior कौन है जिसका age greater than equal to minimum age, here I should write. It's just not readable because we are using everything in uppercase. So that was one mistake that he has identified. Rest is now okay. Age अगर 60 से ऊपर है, 60 या 60 से ऊपर है, then we'll calculate, give him discount of 50%, and then we'll display the tax. Is that right now? Come on, quick feedback. Those who feel it's right, say yeah, tick. Those who feel it's wrong, put a cross, and then we'll test it. I need a feedback from everybody. If you have some issues, you can, for saving the bandwidth, you could turn on off your video, but then you can always give a feedback. Rahul, क्या आंसर सही है गलत है?
Sir, can you show code once?
Still wants to have a look at the code once again. I don't mind. Okay. Variables have already been defined, and the logic starts from here. We ask is to enter annual income, he enters annual income. We ask is to enter age in years, he accepts the age. We calculate the income tax. If he is senior citizen, then we go here. We calculate the income tax. That's discount we give 50%. We come here, we display the result, and we stop. Right. Can you hear us? Others, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Rahul, क्या हुआ?
I not sir.
Correct or not?
अगर सर लेस देन है तो डायरेक्टली
आ जाएंगे और जो इनकम टैक्स हमने ऊपर कैलकुलेट किया है वही डिस्प्ले करेंगे. सपोज
Okay,
आज
sir.
आपका इनकम टैक्स कैलकुलेट करे, आप सीनियर सिटीजन नहीं हो, then whatever is the previously calculated income tax, that itself will display.
Okay, sir. Okay, right.
Correct? है?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Never believe on the solution unless you don't test it. You should not come up with an opinion whether it's right or not. So let's see if there is any mistake in this entire solution that we have come up with. Okay. This is what about 30%? Monica, I did not get your question. We have used that 30% income tax rate. Can you see that? Annual income into income tax rate, 30%. That 30%. Proceed. Let's run this code and see. This is variable cannot be variable not declared. Somewhere I have misspelled the variable name. What we'll do is these variable names they are becoming unreadable since we cannot put underscore here. So we'll use all upper camel case for constants. variable names for lower camel case. First letters, words, first letter was small. We'll use upper camel case.
हाँ
Upper camel case. Huh?
sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, Monica is not able to unmute herself.
Okay.
It is showing that host is not allowed to unmute.
Right? Have I stopped anybody? अगर ऐसा हो तो आप लोग भी नहीं अनम्यूट हो सकते ना सिंपल है कि नहीं if you can speak with me you shouldn't have one so keep chatting Monica if you cannot talk maybe in the office she has spoken a lot so God does not want her to speak today God wants her to chat. Here we go. So let's run this particular code to see. We have just, I will not recommend this in the real life, but then just to make this particular inflow logarithms, the code more readable, we use constant in this fashion, all upper camel case. First letter is also capital. Likewise, then we'll go ahead with this income tax rate also. I'll say income tax rate, just to make it more readable. Save this file. This is selection. This is for income tax. Let's run this. And we ask you the question, please enter the citizen's annual income in rupees. So there is a citizen who is earning 1 lakh rupees. Enter the age of the citizen. His age is 50 years. Now tell me what should the tax that he should pay?
30K.
Supposed to say something?
30K.
30,000. Okay. So 30,000 या 3 lakh. Prithviraj कितना पे करना है उसको?
30,000.
His income is 10 lakhs. 1 lakh.
30,000.
30,000. Okay. So all of you agree to the same. So annual income tax payable is rupees 30,000. So that was
Yes.
perfect. So this code is working right. Let's check it once again. Please enter the citizens. So again, he earns 1 lakh. Enter the age of the citizen. This time the citizen is 66 years old. Now tell me how much should be the income tax?
15,000.
15,000. So income tax payable is 15,000. So what did you conclude out of this? Is the solution correct or not?
Yes,
Correct.
correct.
I tell you this is wrong. Now,
सर
yes, please.
सर 30% एनुअल इनकम पे लग रहा है, लेकिन एनुअल इनकम पे टैक्सेबल है या नहीं वो कैसे पता लगेगा इससे?
नहीं, इसमें तो इतने गिवन फैक्ट है. So यहाँ here we have not said anything about what taxable है कि नहीं है. Everything is taxable. So we say income tax is 30% of annual income. So everything is taxable. The condition over here is like, what is your income? You are supposed to pay 30% of that income as a tax.
Okay,
इनकम टैक्स 15% लगेगा.
इसको 50% लगेगा.
सीनियर सिटीजन को.
That's what we have done then, because we are calculating at the rate of 30% and then giving him 50% discount. तो अगर 30,000 था, 30,000 पे 50% दे दिया तो 15,000 हो गया. तो it's 15% बन गई ना.
फिर ठीक है सर. कोड ठीक है फिर.
ठीक है. It's wrong again, I tell you. Check it out. क्या गलती है? Let me know. Who can find it? Mistake हो गया. There is a logical mistake. बहुत बड़ी गलती है.
इनकम टैक्स का फॉर्मूला गलत है. नहीं बराबर.
चलो. Now let me explain how is it wrong. Why do we define constants? We define constants because in this program we have defined some constants. First is minimum age for senior citizen. Then is income tax rate, and then is senior concession rate. Now these are the variables whose value is not supposed to change during the lifetime of the program. Your regular variables like income tax, annual income, their values can change. But these are the constants that we are defined. We don't expect their values to change. इनको जिससे आपने initialize किया है, they are constant variables whose value we do not expect to change, at least as long as the program is running. If the government decides 50% is too much of a discount that is being paid, let us give them only 10% discount. Now, if I'm going to give them 10% discount, now if somebody's income is 1 lakh, so how much is the person supposed to pay? 1 लाख अगर इनकम है तो टैक्स कितना रहेगा?
10.
3,000 का.
It will be 30,000 if he is not a senior citizen.
Say 27,000 if he is a senior.
If he is a senior citizen, how much he is supposed to pay?
27,000.
How is it 27,000?
Hello.
If we say senior citizen eligible for concession of 50% in the total income tax that they are payable. यानी जितना income tax payable था उसका 50% उनको डिस्काउंट है. करेक्ट. तो अगर 30,000 पेबल था तो उसको 15,000 ही पे करना है. बट नाउ इंस्टेड ऑफ 30%, if I change this 50%, if I change to 10%, तो in that case Kaustuv has rightly calculated, फिर अगर 30,000 टैक्स है उस पर 10% डिस्काउंट मिल गया तो 30,000 पे 10% डिस्काउंट मिलने पर कितना होगा? How much is 10% of 30,000? Yes, Ankita, how much is 10% of 30,000? Agishri, how much is 10% of 30,000?
3,000, sir.
3,000. तो 3,000 डिस्काउंट मिलने पर उसका टैक्स कितना रहेगा?
27.
27,000.
27,000.
And you all have missed out on that aspect now. Please enter this annual income of the citizen. Say this time around, I say annual income of the citizen is 1 lakh once again. 1 lakh. Oh, by mistake, I said 10,000. That's okay. Age of the citizen, suppose if I say it's only 12 years, so he's paying 3,000 rupees. That's the regular 30%. But suppose let's take once again. Annual income is again 1 lakh. Annual income is 1 lakh. Age of the citizen is 66 years. Yeah, 60 years. Income tax payable is 3,000. Is he supposed to pay 3,000 or 27,000?
7.
7. That means our solution was wrong. So what appears correct is actually a wrong solution. तो बताइए इसमें क्या correction करना चाहिए? So what we have calculated over here is the discount that he's supposed to pay. What we actually needed was the income tax that he's supposed to pay. So this what we have calculated is a discount. Question was talking about the discount, correct? Seriously, concession. ये concession आपने find कर लिया. But concession कितना? That's not what is to be printed. Income tax कितना? That is to be printed. And what you have calculated here was only a concession. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What is a seemingly very simple question, there exists some issues that we have to be very, very careful to identify. The variable name is suppose concession. That's the real value. Okay. So I have taken one variable as concession so that even somebody is reading the code will not get confused. So I will perform two operations over here. First, I'll calculate concession. Concession कितना है तो income tax into linear concession array. And here यहाँ क्या change करना होगा then? रोहित चलो बताओ. What is the income tax now?
Income tax minus linear concession.
Tax minus only concession. We have calculated the concession that will subtract from the income tax. So to get the concession. First we calculate the concession, then we subtract the concession. Now let's run this particular code to see the result. Enter the income of the citizen. That's again 1 lakh. Age of the citizens, that is 60 years. Now have we got it right? 27,000.
Yes,
So it
sir.
was a seemingly very simple question, but still we went and committing a mistake. That's because we failed. This 50% was actually confusing. As long as 50%, whatever you do, even the previous logic will work correctly, even this logic will work correctly. Let's see 50% के लिए सही काम कर रहा है क्या? Again, I take the same thing. Age is suppose 60 years. Yeah, 27,000. Okay, is that right? 1 lakh के लिए, oh, I did not save it, looks like. Here's the code. And suppose 1 lakh. I did not make changes, I think. Enter the age of the citizen is 60 years, 27,000 RR. I made changes over here. I did not make the changes in the program flowchart, I think. Essentially, the story was different. It will work correctly on for 50%. Now, if I say 1 lakh, enter, we enter the age of the citizen in years. Again, I say 60. It's working correctly. So, जब तक वो 50% है, till that time it's difficult to guess what exactly has gone wrong. Moment we change to 10%, then the story was different. 20%, 70%, the story will be different. So you have to be very careful. The problem may be straightforward, but you have to be very, very careful when you go ahead attempting the problem. That's why I asked you twice कि ये solution सही है नहीं है. And most of you ended up saying it's right, but there existed a problem. But ये तो single alternative हुआ. Yes or no? So let's now change this problem statement to make it dual alternative. Even before I do that, I'll share this particular file with you so that you will have it for your reference. Let me know if you have received the file. Received the file?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to make it the same problem statement. I'm now going to make it dual alternative. Huh? Now I'm just going to rephrase the question slightly, but this time around, I do not want you to go wrong. Okay. So have a look at this problem statement. Simple and straightforward, but इस बार गलती नहीं करनी है. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the problem with you all, and I'm going to break you out into rooms. तो आपको भी ये problem का solution discuss करना पड़ेगा. You'll first discuss the solution and then come with the idea as to how you solve it. And if you can draw the flowchart immediately and show me, I would be very happy. So I'm sharing the file with you all. Have you received the problem statement? Let me know. Received the file?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm breaking out in the rooms now. Discuss it and come with a solution. Join the groups. Join the group. Bhageshri, Rohit, join the group. Completed the discussion, you could draw the flow chart. You all are expected to solve the solution together. Huh? You have permission to share the screen. So one of you can share the screen, start drawing, and others can help them out. It's like pair programming that you have to do. Can share me the solution because they were very near to the solution. Share the solution in the chat window, room 1.
Who, sir?
Rahul, share करो.
Save a file and put in chat. Yes, all the 3 rooms, everybody share your files. Save your file and put in chat window. Raj, from 3 different rooms.
Shared.
Yeah. Is anybody still in the break window? Have a solution. Room 1 were actually very near to the solution. Can you all see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Subject 1 marks, subject 2 marks, subject 3 marks, subject 4 marks. That's okay. You could have just said subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, subject 4. Yeah, mark 1, mark 2, mark 3, mark 4. That was also okay. Then you have integer maximum marks, that is 400. Then you have a variable like percentage obtained. Okay. Then you ask you to marks in first subject out of 100, second subject out of 100, third subject out of 100, fourth subject out of 100. Everything is okay. Then you are calculating the percentage obtained. And your percentage is the total divided by maximum marks and that divided into 100. You are honestly making your life difficult. Let's take every subject you had secured 50. So 50 plus 50 plus 50 plus 50. 50 plus 50, that comes to 200. 200 divided by 400. How much is 200 divided by 400? Yes, room one.
Half.
Nice. Pardon? Divided by 400, how much?
0.5.
1 upon.
Half.
100 divided by 400.
1 by
you-
2.
1 by 2. So how much is it? 0.5?
Yes.
Yes,
Then you're saying 0.5 into 100. What is 0.5 into 100?
50%.
Why are you making your life difficult? Couldn't you have just said a subject 1 plus subject 2 plus this? What is this? Divided by 4. That was I saying average and percentage marks is exactly the same. Why do you need to do that? So 4 subject का अगर average आपका 200 है, 200 divided by 4 would have also given you 50. That is good enough. Just average is what had to be calculated. Whenever out of marks are exactly the same, in that case, average and percentage will be same. If out of marks were different, one subject was 150, another was out of 100. In that case, you have to use the formula that you have used. Not in this case. So average and percentage are exactly the same. So you have calculated percentage obtained, and then you are printing obtained. Is the question asking you to print the percentage obtained?
That was just for my convenience.
I told you very clearly, don't give anything the user has not asked for. User is only asking whether student has passed or failed. We are not interested in their percentage. You are giving something that user has not asked for. Was this asked? Percentage kitne mile use?
No.
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 So something that has not been asked should not have been given. And percentage obtained greater than equal to 35. What is this 35 as a magic number? 35
It should be declared.
should be defined. There should not be any magic numbers in your program. No magic numbers. So here you have these 4 subjects. Percentage obtained you have calculated. You could have declared one more variable as passing percentage. Yeah. Minimum. Yeah, passing percentage. You could have initialized that particular variable. Passing percentage is equal to 35. Not 0.35, but 35. That's your passing percentage, 35. And then here you could have compared is percentage obtained greater than or equal to passing percentage. Percentage obtained is getting equal to passing percentage. If true hai, to the student has passed. Okay, congratulations, the student has passed. Sorry, the student has failed. That's how simple the question is. In this particular problem, there are marks in 4 subjects. One improvement that one of the team was doing, that is very correct. The question very clearly says marks are out of 100. So what if user enters over here marks as 150? So that's an improvement that we can bring about. But for that, there is yet more discussions to be done. So let's run this particular code and see, check for the correctness. Enter the marks obtained in subject number 1 out of 100. That's a good message. So I say 75% marks. Enter the marks in second subject. I say 70%. Third subject, that's 60%. Fourth subject, and that's 55. So definitely it says congrats, the student has passed. That's what was required. Percentage marks kitne mile, kya mile, that was not something which was required. Let's do next time. He is very smart, 13 million marks out of 100. Next subject में 34 out of 100. Next subject में 50 out of 100. And fourth subject में only 10 out of 100. So sorry, the student has failed. That's how simple and straightforward the question was. So have a look at this question solution, and if you have any questions, please ask. किसी के मन में कोई भी doubt है तो पूछेगा. So this was comparatively a nice work done by team 1. So congratulate team 1 to complete the thing first as well, and straightforward and simple. है किसी के मन में कोई डाउट? Yes, any query anybody has?
No, sir.
There is integer percentage of it. There should be real percentage of it.
If you said something,
I said
Yeah.
there is integer percentage of it. There should be real percentage of it.
a good question. What will happen if it's integer? Will it make a difference? Tell me. 35.1 is also pass and 30.0 is also pass. So if I ignore the
It should be
precision,
precise, sir.
okay. But then I could have taken that as real. That was one improvement that we could have got. But then that even then it was working right. Because 35 point anything is okay. Even if I ignore the precision, that's also okay. So in this problem statement, percentage obtained, even if it was not real, it will still work. But it would have been better, as Rohit has identified, if it was float, that was better. But there are some problems with float. Huh? I'll tell you about what are the problems with the float later. Your programming language that you're working on. As long as you're working with computers, floating point, try and compare floating point values for equality, there's always a problem. So wherever possible, even till the time I don't tell you why it is so, avoid comparing floating point values. Look what I'm saying. Take it as a rule. Avoid comparing floating point values. I think I shared only with Raj. I want to share with everybody. Avoid comparing. Note karke rakho. Wherever possible, avoid comparing floating point values. Wherever possible, avoid comparing floating point values. हो सके तो integer ही compare कीजिएगा. So this was the solution that we have come up with. Okay. So it's very important that you spend some time. Don't do something which has not been asked for. Okay. Focus only on what is the question demanding. And a lot of times we spend time doing unnecessary stuff. Don't give anything more. Don't give anything less. Give exactly what the user has asked for. And read the problem statement carefully. Yeah? Many of you are misinterpreting the statement. Don't think much, but read it carefully. Whatever has been asked from you, read it very carefully. Now, there are additional assignments that we are yet to solve. But this was more of a practice that we took. So then wherein you solve that particular problems on your own. Now, what I want you to do is, as an assignment, I'm not going to trouble you much because many of your friends are having exams right now. I want you to come up with flowchart for the same. यानी यही जो problem था, इसी का हमें flowchart draw करना है as a part of practice. So if you have the flowchart ready with you, flowchart we have drawn. I need pseudocode for the same. Okay, and one question, only one question for an assignment. So have a look at this particular question. That's the single question for as an assignment that we'll have today. Okay. This Monica who's buying present for her best friend. Share this thing with you. I'm not in a position to take a snapshot, but I'll just take it once again and share with you. Share the problem statement with you all. Have you all received the problem statement?
Yes.
Please download it. Pseudocode for this, not the flowchart, but the pseudocode. We use if and else and end if to solve this particular problem. If else end if is what we use to solve this particular problem. Now go through the problem statement. Let me know if you have any query. Which question है क्या उसके बारे में?
Sir, the cost of present is the same in both places म्हणजे ते सेमच शॉप आहे ना जिथून ऑनलाईन पण मागू शकतो असं आहे का?
Cases. That means even if you go online or if you visit the shop, the cost of the present is the same.
Sorry sir, I have made it not.
Even if you go to the shop or if you order online, the item cost is the same. Cost is same. MRP is same.
येस सर बट ऑब्विसली मग ऑनलाईन ऑर्डर केल्यावर मग त्याला टॅक्सेस लागणार आणि मग
No, you are not supposed to think too much beyond what has been given in the problem.
ओके
So read the question carefully and just check. इसमें क्या कहा गया है? If it is online, that means you are not going to travel, so they're going to charge you the shipping cost.
But sir, it will take time also ना to deliver.
आपकी बर्थडे का बेस्ट फ्रेंड का बर्थडे अगले साल है, क्या करना है आपको टाइम से?
Yes.
Is time the concern over here? Monica is not concerned with the time. What is she concerned about?
So say
Shipping cost या fuel cost.
Pardon?
we have to
Shipping
just compare
cost.
those.
You just have to identify which is the best way to buy the present. That's it. वो भेजना है नहीं भेजना है फ्रेंड को वो बाद में देखा जाएगा. But
Sir.
buying the present, best way to buy the present. That's the only thing that we are looking at.
Sir, एक क्वेश्चन शिपिंग कॉस्ट आणि फ्युएल कॉस्ट हे आपण डिसाइड करायचं का ते बाय डिफॉल्ट सेम?
By default कुठं काय नाही काय दिलं.
काही
You-
दिलंच
नाही.
नाहीये.
So if you are not given, then you have to ask.
समजा मी प्रोग्राम मध्ये फ्युएल कॉस्ट जास्त लिहिली आणि शिपिंग कॉस्ट कमी लिहिली आणि त्यानुसार रिफिल्स केलं तर चालेल का?
But it's not going to remain fixed, huh? That will change from one store to another, na? So you
Yes,
have to ask for that
sir. कॉन्स्टंट
information.
मध्ये
How can it be constant? It will change, na? If
नाही
the
नाही.
store is in Mumbai
Yes, yes,
and the store is in Pune, it is going to change. So you have to ask for that charges.
So I will ask to Monica only what will be the fuel cost and what.
Yeah, because you know to travel how much will it take,
Okay, sir.
what is the shipping cost? Because when you purchase something online, they tell you the shipping cost, na?
Yes, sir.
If the shipping is not free,
Yes.
yes or no? या कुछ भी मंगाओ एक ही कॉस्ट में आ जाता है. Is that how it is?
Minimum fuel cost and shipping cost.
Whatever it is. So you have to ask for information that is not given in the problem statement. So when you ask, now the only person who can ask in this case is the client. Na?
Yes, sir.
Ask for whatever information that you want. So the client can travel 30 kilometers to buy the store. Okay, so she has to travel 30 kilometers. So you'll have to ask all relevant questions to the user. And then you are a consultant, you're gonna tell the user, your application is gonna be telling the user whether she should buy it online, it's a decision-making tool, or whether she should travel over there and purchase that particular item. So that's how the question is. So read it carefully, take your time, draw a flowchart and pseudocode both for this. Test it. Logarithms will help you to test it also. So test it via logarithm and see whether you're getting it right or not. Solution that we have discussed, set percentage, that also I have shared with you all. Did I share Prithviraj ka solution right now? The team 1 ka solution?
Yes,
Kila ki nahi kila?
yes, sir. Done.
केलं
Set
sir.
percentage.
So download those things and solve this assignment as well and be ready for the next session. So we are slightly going slow right now. I'm not taking too many examples, but more important than taking more number of examples, it's important that you are forced to solve. And I hope you are identifying even in the simplest problem, how we go wrong. So you cannot like brush away. One of your batchmates said problems are very simple. And I challenge him also. If they come down for the session, they'll realize what silly mistakes we commit. And if you don't work on these small problems, don't think about directly writing an application like Google server or something. That's not going to happen. So that habit of looking into the minutest detail will be built with these small exercises. It is not like I will ask you to develop some very complex algorithm and there you will learn everything. That never happens. In this small algorithm, we have an opportunity to identify the small mistakes. And when we overcome these mistakes, while you're writing some big solution, those mistakes will not be committed. Your mind will automatically start thinking in that fashion. So when I said logic can be taught, that is what I mean. I can make you more sensitive to the small issues. So when a problem statement comes, you will be very careful while you are analyzing the solution, while you are drawing the algorithm, writing the algorithm, flowchart, or writing the serial code or drawing the flowchart. You will be very, very sensitive. And that is what I want you to be. Okay, and if you can solve these small problems, I told you, even the largest problem solution is collection of small problems only, nothing more than that. Because decomposition is the rule that we should never forget. The problem can be, application can be quite large, but we're going to divide so small that it cannot be divided further. So we're going to solve small problems only at a time. So we're going to focus on such small problems, solve this particular, help Monica to make a choice. That's your assignment. So with that note, we'll stop over here today. So like every day. Agishri, what was your takeaway?
So read the question carefully and
Read the question carefully. Yeah, I told Bhageshri or Kaustubh in the team, देखो question पढ़ो. They were doing something more that what was not asked. Okay, very carefully you have to read. Prithviraj, what was your takeaway?
Only provide the user with the information that is asked.
Whatever output that user has asked.
Yes.
Nothing less, nothing more.
Nothing
Huh?
more.
Nothing less and nothing more. Very
Yes.
good. Aditya,
Yes, sir. Same. Don't provide the information that user didn't ask, and sir, some Boolean expressions, and that's all.
Pita,
Yes, sir. So we learned that we don't have to exaggerate which is not asked, and keep it simple and significant. Sir, your voice is not audible.
Kaustubh,
Sir, to divide problem in subparts so that it can be solved easily.
okay, but we have not yet come across some difficult problems right now.
Yes, yes.
तो आज के सेशन में क्या लर्निंग किया आपके एक्सरसाइज सॉल्व करने को क्या सीखा आपने
Sir, to read the question properly and to divide the problem.
यस राहुल कह रहा है क्या आई कैन नॉट हियर कैन अदर्स हियर राहुल
No, sir.
Can you hear me, sir?
या
So dual alternative and focus on question what demands.
what is the question asking for
Yes.
Rohit
So first thing I got to learn that you need to keep things simple. You don't need to complicate it much, but you can't be careless.
yes. Okay, you have to
Yes.
complete what is required. Simple
yes.
does not mean we'll ignore something.
Yes.
Okay, and stick
So
to
second,
what the problem statement is asking. Stick to what the problem definition is.
yes. Second thing I got to learn is there is no place for magic numbers. And
Magic numbers greater than or equal to 35, not acceptable. Give names and then use it. Very correct.
yeah, and you should avoid comparing floating point.
I have not yet told you the reason behind it. Believe me, and wherever possible, avoid floating point comparisons. You will be thankful to me for this particular guideline, because there are surprising results that we will have when we actually go ahead comparing floating point values. I'll let you know more about it when we learn programming languages. Okay. So on that note, we'll stop. I want all of you to solve this assignment. A single assignment है, solve कीजिएगा, and the problems that we have solved today, दो या 3 सॉल्व किए, आई वांट यू टू कम विद फ्लो चार्ट सीडो कोड्स फॉर देम। तो तीनों का सीडो कोड और ये लास्ट वाले का सीडो कोड या फ्लो चार्ट, योर चॉइस। तो जो सॉल्व किए उनके सीडो कोड्स and the assignment का flow chart is what I want. Okay, and it should be in the Flogorithm only, so I can test it quickly. So with that note, we'll stop here today. See you next time. Take care. Love you all. Bye bye.